What's up, guys? Welcome back to Weapons Wednesday, and today we're going to be discussing basically how to use the light system on whether it be your rifle or your pistol, because I've been going out to a lot of low light classes and I've seen a lot of people training, and I've also seen a lot of stuff on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram of people training, and it's great. You guys need to get out there, continue training, continue doing your thing. That's what we're all about here, right? However, with that said, when you guys are running, whether it be the light on your rifle or the light on your pistol, right? When this comes out and you're in that low light situation, right? You don't want to all of a sudden turn your light on and then be running around with this on or moving through with this constantly on. All this is going to do is give you away, right? All this is going to do is be this giant beacon for whichever person at the opposite end of this engagement to cue off of to see exactly where you're at, right? So while you're moving about, this needs to be off. You need to get used to whether you're compressed or punched out, you have to be able to use this light correctly, right? Whether you're using your thumb down here or if you have an actual pressure switch to use. I prefer the pressure switch, so that way I can still have my thumb up where it needs to be. It doesn't have to be down on the light. So the pressure switch, if you guys can get the RSP, because most people are running an X300 anyway, or something from Surefire. I think Streamlight also now has a pressure switch, and I believe even Holosun is coming out with one for their new PID. So yeah, you guys have to be able to not only practice using the light with the pressure switch or with your thumb down here to actually manipulate the light, but as soon as you take that shot, right? A lot of people will also freeze, like they're at night, right? They'll be doing a night shoot, and they're turning on the light, and they might get this part down where they get out, they press, and they're engaging, but like they're here, and then like even though they're right here, right? They'll come back for a reload, and they're still right here. So the last known spot that I was at was where this light was, right? So if the enemy is going to be shooting, where's it going to be? It's wherever they last saw the light, right? So if I'm out here and all of a sudden I realize I need to reload, my light goes off, and I move for my reload, right? You have to step out. You have to move. You can't stay in the same spot, or you're just going to be that same target in the last known spot that they were at. So you have to keep moving. You can't sit there at the same corner. Even if you're at a corner, even if you have cover, especially at a corner or whatever the case is, there's a good chance that if you're at a corner, that corner extends more than a few feet, right? So you can engage, and if you're having to take cover and take your light down, right? You can move off that corner so that you're not getting like just potentially peppered through the wall or whatever the case is, right? So, yeah, that's all I really wanted to cover today. It's not super extensive, but again, it's just something that I've been seeing a lot of people start to train to, which is great. I think that it's something that absolutely needs to happen. But you have to train to all of it. It can't just be the one part and then you just run with that one part. Obviously master that one part, right? Obviously go through the steps of getting through that one part, but do not go through it and then just stop there, because it's more than just that. It's more than just using your light, right? It's the whole dynamic. It's the whole situation that you're having to deal with. It's not just, oh, I need to get light on the target so I can shoot it. It's using the light to identify the target, and understanding that the light also makes me a target, right? So with that said, we're just going to do some low light shooting, have some fun, and I'll kind of give it like an example of it, right? So I'm going to turn the lights off real quick and kind of show you guys what I mean. What I'm seeing a lot, right, is we'll go condition one, right? So what will happen, right, is people will come up and they will draw, and when they go to draw, they'll turn their light on, and then all of a sudden this light is on. So even when they're moving between targets, right, to engage, right, whether they're punching in, punching out, they're doing this all with their light on. And so like you have to learn to manipulate the weapon, whether it just be with your thumb down here, right, like this, or with that pressure switch. So yeah, it has to be in between, right? We can't sit here and just engage constantly with the light on and then move with the light on. So what you want to do, right, is as you come up, You want to identify your target, right? And take the shot. You do not want to sit there with the light on. You don't want to sit. If I've taken the shots, if I need to sit, right? My light goes off. I don't sit here and just continue this, right? Because if it's dark out, again, that's the only, and if like I'm the only source of light, I'm going to continue to be that target, right? Like I don't want to sit here. So if I take my shots, I want to retract and maybe and move to a new spot. It's kind of the same concept as working like a good sniper team, right? Like they're going to take their shot, they're going to move because they don't need to stick around for anything, right? You don't want to stick around for something, especially with your light on sitting here searching and assessing, because it's dark. You can't see wherever your light is not, and you're just that giant beacon. So move out of that situation. Move on from that spot, because that's not the place you want to be, right? Going back to the reloads, right? If I'm out and let's just say my light's on, my gun goes dry, my light goes off, right? I'm stepping out, I'm reloading, and then I can step back in, light on, and search and assess and come back, or whatever the case is, right? Operating in the dark is completely different than just sticking around in a lighted scenario, or like where we have tons of ambient light, or it's daylight, whatever the case is. Like when it's daylight, you can constantly search and assess, you can constantly see things, and there's nothing immediately giving you away position like a light does at night. Like there's just so much light just draws so much of the natural eye to your location that you just can't stay on. Especially, again, this is going back to buildings. Let me turn the light on real quick. But going back to like inside buildings, especially when we're talking about room clearing and things like that, right? There's so much that you can do with that can help you actually use the light to your advantage. You can take light and you can throw it places. You can change the level of your muzzle and like where you're like letting the light come from. There's a flashing technique we can go over later when it comes to entering a room, where you can kind of like flash behind, get a sense of, or like flash in front. You can like peek. You can get a good sense of the room before you go in, and then move in. That way, again, you're prepping yourself to get information inside the room. Again, we'll cover that in another video. But again, I just wanted to touch on this really quick because I think it's important. Because I want to see people out there training. I just want to see you guys doing it right. I don't want to see people running around with their lights on constantly. I don't want to see them even with their lights being prepped, right? Like, for example, I saw some guys doing some CQB work, and they're just sitting outside of the door, right? If this is their doorway, they're just sitting outside the door with their weapons up and lights on. Well, one of them, the case is the light, the weapons down and lights on. And it's like, if you're just sitting there outside an open door with your light on, you're just a sitting duck. Like if someone's actually in that room, like you're gonna get fucked up, because they're gonna know exactly when you start to move, exactly when you're gonna start breaching the threshold. Like you can't do it. You can't sit there with your light on, guys. All right. Take that for what it's worth. I hope this was like at least semi-informative for some people. I know that some people already kind of know this, right? But I've been seeing, like I said, a lot of people on social media starting to train, and it's fucking awesome. But just make sure you guys are talking to someone with some experience or with some training, or, again, just get the knowledge base that you need. Keep training, but train correctly. Train how you fight. Get out there, and if you're going to be doing drills, like do drills in the way that you would see yourself needing to use that piece of training, right? So, for example, if you're taking like if you're working on concealed carry, like do some training that is specific to concealed carry. If you're doing like battle drills type stuff, like you need to be in all your gear, right? If you're out there training and you're actually like, and you're the one like going through the drills and stuff, then you need to be in your full kit, because that's how that's how you're going to operate in that situation, right? I see a lot of guys they've got like a full tactical rifle and a tactical belt, and they've got like all they've got all this shit, right? And they're out there like doing drills from their belt, but like at what point in your use case for that scenario are you only going to have your belt on and not at least an H harness, not some sort of chest rig, right? Like if I have my battle belt on, right, and I'm doing rifle drills to train to something, like I'm training to something. If you're a competitive shooter, by all fucking means, it makes total sense for you to have nothing but a belt, a fucking race gun, a race pistol, a fucking race rifle, and you're just fucking lighting shit up and going fast as fuck, boy. But if that's not you, right? If you got a tactical rifle with an IR light on it and it's fucking camoed out and you've got, you know, your med kit, drop pouch, like tourniquet, fucking, you got a full tactical rig on and you're running your rifle without a chest rig on. Even if the chest rig is empty, even if you're practicing drawing from your belt, I'm totally fucking cool with it. But if you're ever actually going to be using that training, do you really see yourself just with a belt on? Especially if you own a rig. If you own a rig and you're not wearing it, why the fuck aren't you wearing it? Like there's not a reason or a purpose for that, right? Like you gotta always, we hammer on this so much, you have to keep in mind your purpose. If you don't, it's just wasted training, because when you go out to do something different, it's gonna be different. You're not training how you fight, right? You can't say anything more about training how you fight. So I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. I will see you guys for Weapons Wednesday next week. Also, make sure you guys are following the Thinking Out Live page, the Thinking Out Live YouTube. That's the podcast that we're starting. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Have an awesome week. Also, at the end of the month, we are doing a Holosun PID giveaway that's gonna be coming up, so look out for that. It's gonna be super fun. And I'll be doing a review of that for Frag Out Friday at the end of the month as well. I will see you guys then. As always, stay loose, battle on. And if you bitch in your heart, it'll show.